dumbest thing ever. This is DJ from Hyannis. What's up, DJ?
Time to put Scheim in timeout.
Four.
Dumbest take I ever heard. The old school quarterbacks couldn't handle the new school stuff because they have the new technology.
Yep.
They'd be bigger, stronger, and badder than the new guys. I have
Bigger,
nothing
stronger,
against
and
the new
badder?
athletes. They'd be bigger and stronger.
Okay,
They
that
were
doesn't make
bigger
them better
anyhow.
quarterbacks.
They would have the technology to be better. That's what you don't understand.
Yeah,
These guys are skinny and fast.
What
It's
you're
a
not
different
understanding
game.
is that it doesn't for the evolution of the quarterback position. It's not about technology. It's about the actual ability to throw the football and actually be.
Exactly.
No, you're missing the point.
No,
And the way
no,
offenses have
no.
evolved. We don't run the
Okay,
wishbone
stop
offense anymore here. We don't run the triple option. Like it's
Listen,
the
stop
the
getting
offenses
Wiggy
nowadays are
truck in the
far
morning
more
and
complicated.
sniffing all the weed.
Nope, I haven't sniffed any weed. Thank you very much. It's just that's how offenses have grown over time.
I'll have you know I have not smelled the aroma of marijuana at all today.
Like Kyle Shanahan's offense is more complicated than his dad's offense was. And that's just because that's how the sport has evolved.
Right, but his dad would be a great coach today using the modern way in which it's being coached.
And I think Kyle would be better.
What?
There's a reason that these guys were more creative. Like it's certain people are just better. And now the quarterback position now is better than it was.
No, I
and
think
it always will be. And the
think
people at it will be better. Even if you took those people like Joe Montana and put them in today, it would not be the same.
I think the game has just evolved. So when back in the days, throwing the ball wasn't a big thing, and then as the years football goes on and it evolves, it's like when the first car came out, right?
But it was a big thing. Like
No,
when
but
Joe Montana played, it was a
No,
big
when
thing.
Joe Montana played, I agree with you.
Well, that's the argument.
Well, that's where I think Scheim's out for his rocker because I gave him Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, John Elway, Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham. Like those guys, I believe would be able to play in this game. Like they'd be able to play today.
Most of the guys you mentioned are not mobile RPO quarterbacks, but it wasn't what the game was.
No, it wasn't. That's why Randall Cunningham was looked at as like
as different.
Yeah, like he's good, but he's not on the same level.
But they didn't RPO because guys would get their head knocked off.
Yeah, it was a different game.
And players hit harder today than they did 40 years ago, Greg. Because the athletes are better. Like those linebackers nowadays are yoked up beyond belief.
You're saying the guys hit harder now than they did when Wiggy played?
Yes.
No, it's not even close.
Oh, my God.
Not even close. Sean Taylor would literally obliterate, whatever.
Yep.
He would crush any wide receiver. Because
Rodney
nowadays,
Harrison.
you don't have to worry about going across the middle. When
Ray
I was
Lewis.
going across the middle, it was Rodney, it was Sean Taylor, it was Ray Lewis, it was Dawkins from Philadelphia. These guys would knock your head. I didn't play with Ronnie Lott, but Ronnie Lott. I played with Steve Atwater.
Like
but
I bet Jelani Tavai would hit harder than Brian Urlacher.
Oh my God, I am going home.
It's called the evolution of athletes.
What is wrong with you?
Tom Brady was able to juke out Brian Urlacher. That's a big
Are
white
you
guy.
doing this just to F with
I
everybody?
think
No.
yes. I played against.
Absolutely not.
I played
You
against
actually
Brian
believe
Urlacher.
it?
Yes.
I played against Brian Urlacher. The guy was 6'4", 260 pounds. That could run a 4.5.
He played secondary in college. The guy was a freak.
Jelani Tavai is a good football player, but he's not hitting harder than Zach Taylor, who played for the Dolphins.
Oh, he was tiny, wasn't he?
Right, and he was just Ted Johnson. The guy, literally, I felt like the guy had
Like Juwan
cinder
Bentley's
blocks
hitting
in his
harder than
helmet.
Teddy Bruschi did.
Huh?
Like Juwan Bentley's hitting harder than Teddy Bruschi did.
I mean, they're all hitting hard. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I know. Don't get me wrong, Wiggy. At the time, back then, that was hard. But nowadays, athletes are they're stronger.
Right.
They're faster.
Right,
they
but
hit harder.
remember, athletes today, they're not throwing their bodies all over the place because they can't do that in the game. So they have been trained differently how to tackle. Well, that's why I said when I was going across the middle against guys like Rodney and Sean Taylor, they didn't care. They were looking to take your head off. They didn't care about their own bodies.
Scheim, I want you to look at my screen. This was Tom Brady in 2001 against the Bills. This is Nate Clements absolutely decapitating him.
Good for him.
Yeah, I was at that game in Buffalo.
Right. That doesn't happen in today's football anywhere.
Not even close.
That's not my point. My point is if it did happen, Curtis, it would look 10 times worse because, again, the athletes are bigger, faster, and stronger. Well, that's the point.
Here's what I'll say. I would say
there's a reason why it doesn't happen anymore because people would die.
Jelani Tavai is not stronger than Brian Urlacher.
Yeah. No. Here's Scheim. Here's what I'll give you. The athletes probably are a little bit more faster today than
not a little bit.
No, I'm talking about overall. Right?
Yeah.
So let's say
because you mean the ways to condition have improved.
It's just whatever. Like the learning of like sprinting and
conditioning bodies and building bodies. Yes.
But I will disagree with you. The guys that play today are much smaller. They're not bigger than when I played.
You are being called unqualified for your position that you currently hold here. Just to be aware.
Yeah, from texters on the to a radio show. I feel very secure in my position. Thank you.
And they're not bigger, Scheim, because of the RPO.
Because you need to be faster.
Okay,
right.
So Jelani Tavai ran a 4.8 740. Brian Urlacher ran a 4.5. Brian Urlacher benched more than Jelani Tavai.
Yeah,
I mean he's stronger and bigger in every single way you could measure it.
And I agree with you, like as far as the RPOs and how like the interior linemen, like when you look at what Aaron Donald has done, he's completely changed the game. The smaller size defensive linemen, they exist in today's football. When I played, it was Ted Washington. It was guys like Vince Wilfork. It was guys like Pat Williams. These guys were at like the size of pickup trucks.
Yeah,
right?
But so they've changed that.
Game.
It's now because force is mass times velocity, Wiggy. They take some of that mass off, and they add a ton of velocity. That's the difference.
I would like to
my favorite theorem.
Yeah.
I would like to end this with a friend of another station across the street, Zoe, who just wrote, "What a moron."
That's fine.
Hey,
coming from a guy who could barely sniff the field.
Warren Sapp was a...
Oh my!
Wow, shots fired.
Hey, I mean, they are what they are, friends.
Disrespect. I'm so happy Scheim decided to be a douche.
So Scheim,
it is taking all the heat off of me.
Cool.
Douche heat redirected.
Yep.
So you see what
Spin the wheel of heat.
You see what Scheim's saying? Basically, Zoe couldn't play in today's game.
He couldn't play back then, Wiggy. You think he could play now?
All right, we'll be right back.
I love Zoe.